Okay, good morning, gangsters. This is take 2. I'm removing the webcam for tutorials because it just glitches out on Max. So I was speaking to Chris last night, and he gave me a few problems, which I thought I'd start today. And I'm going to assume that anyone can pick up these videos, and I'm going to assume that everyone knows nothing about games, modeling, or editing. That way I'm just going to cover everything that I deem is important to get you going. But obviously I'm not going to cover everything. Some of it is also going to have to be some self-study from your part. To begin with Max, some useful keys you're going to want to know is going to be Alt-W. This is going to maximize one of the viewports. To bring it back to get all viewports back again, Alt-W again. One thing that I made a mistake in early when I started Max is I accidentally pressed Control-X and it removes all the tabs for you. This Control-X basically brings things into expert mode, as you can see here. You can just cancel expert mode. So that's the difference between the two, and Alt-W. That's your viewports. One thing nice about Max when you start off is if you want to change things around, you can just move things around, like so. This will make a little bit more sense in the future, but the important thing is there's no one way in which to model. You've just got to find your way and just keep practicing with it. So obviously if we want to move around in the viewport, if you hold in the middle mouse button, it's very important if you're modeling to have a middle mouse button. Just hold that in and you can pan. If you hold Alt and the middle mouse button, you can rotate and move around a bit more freely. And you can also hold in the mouse button and just move around. And rotate. So it's all about Alt and the middle mouse button for camera movement or view movement in Max. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to focus on this tab here, which is Create, and we're going to go to Box. We're going to create a box. So using your left mouse button, just left click and hold and move them box, and if you can, try and make as many boxes as you want. Just get a feel for the 3D space. Move around them, try and make a box on top of a box or near a box. Maybe you want to make a cylinder. Make a few cylinders. Have a look at the tube. Is that a teapot? Maybe a plane. A cone. So these are some of the basic primitives or standard primitives in 3dsMax. Now, what about if we want to start selecting different primitives? I can't do it if I just left click. There's an option here, select objects. Click that and you can start selecting other objects. So what I recommend now is pause the video and just get used to looking around your scene, selecting different objects. If it takes you 10 minutes, it takes you 10 minutes. If it takes you half an hour, it takes you half an hour. Just get a feel for moving around your scene. If you want to look right at that little cube, look at that little cube. Just get a bit of a feel for it. Okay, so after you've got a bit of a feel for movement and making objects and selecting different objects, now what we're going to do is we're going to learn to move these objects and scale these objects. So after selecting one object, press W for whiskey on your key, and that will bring up these gizmos. These are the translate or move gizmos. You can move them on different axes. You can also hold it in the middle and move it freely. But I don't recommend moving it freely. It gets a little bit tricky, even for the most Even for trade people, most people use it all for the gizmos. And then select other objects, move them around. So just get a nice feel for moving things about. So you got W, then you've also got E, which is rotate. So now you can rotate and move things. And this is where multiple viewports come in handy. Okay, now you see, my cube is rotated on top of my cylinder. So just get a feel for moving and rotating. Now you can do scale with R, so W-E-R. And you can scale the objects. And you can move them in the other viewports as well. So you don't just have to use this viewport. If you see this viewport is in wireframe mode, where you can see all the lines where all the polygons are. If you want to change that so it's the same as this viewport, realistic, you can click here and you can change it from wireframe to realistic. Or you can press F3. So F3 or wireframe. Okay. Now in this viewport, this is my view, my cube. If I want to go to the front, I can click front, I can click left, I can click back, right, bottom, and top. Or T, F, L. Top, front, left. By default, you don't have one for right. At least on my computer, I don't. So yeah, that's movement, creating objects, rotating, scaling, and all you need just to make a real simple scene like this. So I'm just gonna end the video here because I'm having a few problems with the recording. And then I'll make some more with some actual projects and things that you can actually make yourself. Peace.